This episode is sponsored by MJ's Progress Not Perfection Meeting Center Association. We are in our meeting center where we do all these meetings for mental health and addiction. I can do this podcast anywhere. I can do this at home. I can do this in a closet. I can do this in a basement. It doesn't matter. All I need is somebody else to talk to about addiction and recovery. What I can't do from anywhere is help people with their addiction and their mental health problems. So if you can help out, we do have a Venmo, we have a Cash App, we have a PayPal, we have an address you can send a check to, and all the money that gets donated goes towards rent, goes towards keeping the lights on, and goes towards keeping the internet on. So please, if you can give $5, $10, $20, it doesn't matter. Anything you can is so appreciated. And if you are a local business, if you're a national business, whatever, and you want to be a part of what we're doing, you can reach out to me and we can talk about how you can be a sponsor. But I'll let you get back to the episode.
Welcome to the show, Adam.
Glad to be here, brother. Thanks for having me on.
So, IFI Motivation, that's your shit, right? That's your page?
Yeah, man, that would be it. IFI Motivation. Some say IFI, some say iffy. I don't care what you call it, as long as you're checking it out and you're benefiting from it.
Well, as soon as I saw that, I was like, if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, is that what that is?
Yes,
cool,
exactly.
Cool,
so initially it started with a business I had in Florida. I'm from Florida, living in Georgia now. I formed In Faith Industries, and the female I was with at the time actually came up with the acronym. So IFI as in IFI, but yeah, that's exactly what it stands for, bro. If I keep working a program of recovery, sobriety will not be as hard as it was. If I talk better to my spouse, maybe, just maybe, we might not argue every day. If I don't get mad at my alarm clock, my day can be better, etc., etc., etc.
That's awesome, man. That's the first thing. When I read that and I was typing in your email address to send you the Skype link, I typed in IFI, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch, if I did that, and then it went right into my head if I did that. And I was like, I got to ask him about that, like, to start, because I'm so curious about that.
Yes.
That's awesome. How long did you start that page? How long ago?
So I jumped off on YouTube January 1st, 2019, by myself. I got rid of social completely before I got in trouble for heroin charges in Florida. So the first IFI page was YouTube, which was January of 19. And then the rest of them were, say, a year, about 2 years ago now. So I grew my YouTube channel first, and I set out to hit a mark with nobody knowing what I was doing. Then I got on social and just pushed it, because I was out there. I was one of them ones, like, everybody knew me in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So I didn't want nobody to know me, to see if this shit was really going to work. And then it started to scale itself. So I jumped back on everything social. Now you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Facebook group, or Facebook business page, and YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And I'll put all the links below too. So whether you're listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening, because it's on Apple and Spotify and all that, it'll be in the description. Just click on, it'll be title, whatever the link is.
Yep.
So what's your sober date then, Adam?
March 11th, 2016.
2016. So you spent a little time in recovery before you even got into making any kind of content then.
Super duper long time in recovery, bro. I used to wake up, I did the 4 o'clock in the morning and listen to motivational videos, because I had to get my brain piece right, because I spent so long being mad at the alarm clock, not having an agenda present. So, dude, I sat and I listened to videos like I create.
Like speaker ones? Like speaker tapes and shit? Yeah. Who's that dude in Who's the dude in LA? Jimmy something? There's that dude in LA. He has like an Irish accent. It's one of the best speaker tapes I've ever heard. It's been so long, because I remember listening in rehab, but it was like the main dude we listened to was Jimmy something. He was some Irish dude, and
there's so many, bro. Like TD Jakes, if you're into the scriptural stuff. I mean, Gary Vee's one of my best favorites. Eric Thomas, even Tyrese Gibson from the damn Fast and the Furious movies has got a bunch of good stuff on YouTube, bro.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's always a lot of good people out there doing that. And that's why I like the recovery community, is finding, none of us are, like Tony Robbins, what I mean? We're just people that live this shit, that just, we're okay with talking about it and making other people feel better. Well, yeah, the ones that are talking, right? The ones that are putting out content every day, we're the ones that are talking, because if we're putting out a message, we just hope at least that one person hears it and they go, oh, that's me.
Right.
You know, like sometimes I get so caught up in numbers, dude, and I look at the analytics so much because we're addicts.
Right.
We're addicts and we're addicted to more. And it didn't matter if
Right.
it's drugs or whatever it is. If the numbers, we want that dopamine. We need that fix of hitting that number. We setting a mark in our head, and when you don't hit it, sometimes you get deflated, right? You know,
Real
because
deflated.
yeah, just real life shit, and you're not numbing it with drugs anymore. And but then there's the little things like I interviewed a girl in Ohio recently, and she's got a nice following on TikTok, like 25,000 followers. Like she's killing it
Cool.
on there with like recovery stuff. And you know, she still was apprehensive about sharing, you know, the video on her Facebook,
Really?
where like where her actual friends are, people that know her know her. 25,000 on TikTok, I guarantee barely any know her, you know. But Facebook and Instagram a little different,
Right.
right?
Right.
So she was really apprehensive because her story is raw, man. Ohio is crazy. Most of my stories come out of Ohio for some reason. I'm doing a big panel coming up soon with like 7 different Ohio girls at once that have
Wow.
all been on the show before, and they're all returning together. Some of them were even trafficked together and haven't even talked to each other in sobriety, and it's been years, but they were trafficked by the
Wow.
same people together.
Wow.
So I was talking to her last night. She sent me a message like, I'm just so happy you do what you do, because without being so comfortable to open up and talk to you, I wouldn't have felt comfortable even sharing my story. And it took me a couple of days of watching it again to realize how therapeutic that was. And I didn't realize how comfortable I would be. And I just word vomited, but it was the best thing for me. And I appreciate that. I was like, yo, that message alone keeps me going for another 6 months with nobody listening or watching,
All day. All day.
you know? So, you know, so what, you've been sober for 5 years then, but how long did you run for? Because you had some charges you mentioned. So I know that you weren't like in Florida, you know, people were not just going to Delray for sobriety. They were going, you know, there was another Ohio girl that was driving 22 hours for their husband 7 times a month from Ohio to Florida to go to the pill mills. At one point, they got a house they rented that they were fucking having an address. So, yo, how was your upbringing, bro?
Florida story of my life. No, my upbringing was a little on the crazy side. So my mom actually left me at a Salvation Army in Lakeland, Florida at the age of 2 years old. My father basically went to work. This is the story that was provided to me, keep in mind. My father went to work one day. My mom ran off with the boyfriend. She was on the way to I want to say like Ohio or Indianapolis, I believe. And things weren't working out. I was like 2 years old. So she pulled over because I guess like it's a safe place. Like, you know, you can drop your
It's
baby at fire
like the
stations
fire station.
or
Yeah,
Sally's.
Salval. Yeah.
Yeah. So she dumped me off, dropped me off at the Salvation Army. My family came back and got me. I lived with grandma for, I don't know, about 9 years or so. Then come about 12 years old, the beginning of middle school, I went with my father. And man, I pretty much got into it like real quick, real immediate. You know, dad was still out there. Dad
Were
wasn't
your
active.
parents younger? I feel like your parents
My
were
dad was
probably,
23 and my mom was
yeah.
19 when I was
So
born.
yeah.
So if that
So yeah.
classifies, I would probably say
Yeah.
that's on the younger
Yeah.
side.
So that means you guys are more like buddies now by the time you're a teenager. If your dad's gunning, if your dad's like going, if he's out there and like getting loaded, then if you're a teenage son and you're around like only 20 years difference and you're impressionable, you end up getting into it too.
Sort of, kind of, not really so much. So one thing I realized when I was in addiction, it was all about me, I, right? I'm very self-centered and self-seeking, right? So basically my childhood was a little bit on the shitty side, right? Like Christmases weren't really ever Christmas. It was something just to get you by, and there wasn't really a lot of love. I always had to hear about how broke we were because we didn't have any money, and because I was the son that I cost all the money. Like some serious trauma, bro. Like some PTSD shit, the abandonment issues. I'm still dealing with it at the tender age of 37 years old now, but it just skyrocketed my addiction. So like by 13, I was already a two-time convicted felon in the state of Florida. I was all by 14 or 15, I was already sent down the road. Already had almost a year in incarceration before the millennial, the 2000, the Y2K thing was going down. I already had served almost a year.
So what
As
was this for drugs related, or is this for like getting in fights? What was going on, man?
the thing that sent me down the road the furthest was armed burglary of a dwelling, grand theft of a firearm. I basically just broke in a house and just took everything that they had. I was just really smoking weed at that time, and I
So it
just
wasn't
was.
like a drug thing that was fueling you. Weed doesn't fuel you to break in and rob shit.
Nah.
It
I
was more teenage angst than just needing attention.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Right. The
Yeah,
attention part, the
because
lack, the
like,
lack of attention.
yeah, if anything, you're relaxing afterwards with the weed. You're not like getting
Right.
high and going to do like when I like a stand up, I used to tell a joke like weed was the always innocent bystander on Cops. When you watch
Right.
the show Cops, it was never my husband just smoked a blunt, now he's hitting me. It's always
Right.
he's high or he's drunk and he's hitting me. Oh yeah, there's weed
Right.
here.
Right.
It's always and it just happens to be there, but it's
Right.
not the fault.
Exactly.
So okay, so it's teenage angst. So what happens? Like I can see you going down, and then you meet other people like you, right? And you're in there for a year. You make friends
Right.
that way, not in school with the regular
Right.
kids.
Right. And that's really what propelled me, because I got out. I got sent to the center of Florida, and did 6 months, and then I had to do basically juvenile parole, and I got out to a level 2 program. They pick you up in a little van every day. They bring you to this program. You're hanging around a bunch of people that made bad decisions just like you, and that's what really introduced me to the game.
Yeah, I
Right.
always
Like,
think of like sleepers, like how they bonded in there, like not sleepers like what the guards were doing. Like you've seen that movie, I'm sure.
oh yeah.
Yeah, not what the guards were doing. I always think of sleepers like you bond with the other criminals in there and you get your clicks. And then
Yeah,
you
man.
come out, you're either rehabilitated, you're the
Or
two that
you
got
ain't.
rehabilitated, or you're the two that started the gang together.
Right. And
So,
that's what happened. They introduced me to the money. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I always heard how much I cost and how much things cost and the money driven from my dad. And my homeboy introduced me to a bag of weed, say 6th or 7th grade, whatever it was, when I got back out. And I'm like, and this was mid grades at the time, and I'm like, this is worth $40. This is worth $40. I'm slinging bubble gum for 50 cents a pack from the dollar store right now, doubling my 50 cent, and this is $40. So, and then it was just like, boom, dude, off to the races. And then, finally, there was a lot of cocaine in Florida, in the
Yeah.
late 90s and early 2000s, and there's still a lot of cocaine in Florida.
Yeah.
But when I was in it, I just got introduced to it, and then I went from this is $40 to this is how much, and it just started blowing my mind. So then we started sniffing cocaine by 16. I had a really good connect on ecstasy tablets. I was buying
I
ecstasy
was going to say
tablets.
that when I think of the 2000s and Florida, I've said this 100 times on the show already. I don't care, but Bad Boys 2. I always think of Bad Boys
All
2.
day long.
It was 2002 that movie came out, and ecstasy was flowing through Miami through the port. And so whenever I think of like drugs in that time, I always equate it to movies, and it's right to that, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was crazy, bro. I mean, 16 years old, we're all meeting up at a rave house. Somebody rented a house, and it was designed strictly for that. I mean, it's to the point where I got so much cash on me at the end of the day, bro. I'm like putting some in each shoe just in case somebody gets in my pocket. I got a Corona bag that I'm tying to the inside of my belt and putting by my sack just to keep the money. It was crazy, bro. And then it just progressed. Then it got real deep on the cocaine, coming into 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. And then when my homeboy in Cape Coral, Florida, one time, he's like, you ever heard of blues? I'm like, blues? And I'm like, nah. He's like, oh my God, bro, you got to try this shit.
Mid
Here's your,
2000s.
yeah, I would probably say it was like the mid 2000s if I had to guess, right? Um, he's like, here, bro, here's a couple on the house. Here's your 8 ball for 100 or whatever the price was, because Coke prices were super cheap.
Yeah.
Here's your 8 ball for 100, and here's a couple blues. So when you got one line left, I want you to crush this thing up. I want you to sniff it and then enjoy your last line. And I want you to call me in the morning. And bro, I did it, and I called him in the morning. I'm like,
How much are those blues?
what is that, bro? What did you give me? That was crazy, bro. How did I go from peeping out the window to eating cereal in less than an hour? That was incredible. Can I get some more of them? And then, bro, the shit show started, man. It was off to the races after that. Then, I mean, I didn't know nothing about the pills. I didn't know nothing about doctor shopping. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I just knew
You're in
cocaine.
the
I knew,
mecca. You're in the
yeah,
mecca of all that. You're in the mecca. Like the Coke was cheaper for you because you're coming. That's coming right to you first, and
right there too.
it's
First
barely
stop.
cut, and it's barely cut. So that's why it's cheaper for you. Let's not forget that. And also the pills, they were like $10 a pop then, those
I
blues,
think they were
because
8.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, well, probably even cheaper because of the pill mills down there. It's crazy. So, eventually they get up to $1 a milligram, $2, but whatever. But yeah, man, like I always think of I know I do this with movies a lot, but Wolf of Wall Street. You
Oh, I
know,
love I
okay,
love that
so
movie.
Jonah Hill's character in that movie, in real life, that guy, after he got out of jail for that shit, and got whatever happened with that, he moved to Florida. He then started a pill mill in Florida. He ran a pill mill in Florida for years. So it's that everyone knew that's where you made money. If you were a shady dude like the guy from Wolf of Wall Street, you knew you go to Florida and you start a pill mill.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
watch Dope Sick and you see the pill mills that they were shown in Dope Sick,
I
in West
haven't seen
Virginia.
that yet, man. I wanna
So
watch that. Everybody's talking about it, bro.
yeah, it's worth
On
watching.
Hulu.
Yeah, it's not triggering. There's a little one little instance where it could trigger for a second, but you work your programs and talk about it's not going to trigger you. But yeah, like it's a really a really good show. Really just nailed it, every aspect of it, and it really showed a really big picture of how bad they fucked us and
Right.
how
And
much
I'm
they
not really
lied.
big into the whole trigger point thing, bro. Like I get a lot of grief from people online about that. And I sort of kind of get it for us that are real super duper early in recovery. Everything's a trigger point if you allow it to be, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, if I eat my ice cream with a spoon and stare at the spoon and be like, I used to heat that thing up. I mean, it's a mindset, it's a
No,
mentality, it's development.
and it's how you perceive it and it's what you do with that information. So like if
Yes.
you are triggered, like when I was triggered for a brief second, I said it out loud to my wife. I didn't hold it in my head. When you say it out loud, the trigger lets go. I have control of it. When you keep it in your head, then it's taking control and it's bouncing around your fucking head, and that's when our minds take over, and that's when we talk ourselves into some shit.
Contemplation, man.
Yeah.
Pre-contemplation leads to contemplation. Yeah.
Exactly. So, it's all about just being self-aware and talking about the shit that's in your head and
Oh
not
yeah.
keeping it all in here anymore. 'Cause that's what we used to do. That's why you talk now. That's why we talk.
Right. To get it
So,
out, man.
yeah. So now, you're introduced to pill mills. Did you get into doctor shopping really quickly?
So believe it or not, I got into doctor shopping, but it was different for me. So I'm an HVAC technician. I've been doing heating, ventilation, and air conditioning forever plus a day. I've always made really good money because if you hustle hard in that skilled trade, air conditioning guys in Florida, they get paid, right? They got to
Yeah.
work hard, but they get paid. So I wasn't the one that was renting the van from Enterprise and loading up the 16 people and bringing them to the pop-up semi that had fake MRIs to where everybody's just arching their back like this so that they
Yeah.
could get I never was that, right? I never had time to escape the relationship I was in for the time frame, the duration it took. So I was a little bit more here's all the money, do what you got to do, or here's half the money to get other people started. So people would have the dream that they want to go do this and they want to go take. I would fund it,
I
right?
gotcha.
And then come back and then get back to it, or
You
then
were the
have it come
guy on
back.
the couch, like, no, no, no. I'm gonna sit and wait. I got stuff to do. I got a family, or I got, a wife or a girl
I
that
just
I
got a bunch
can't.
of shit going on, right?
Yeah, I got life stuff, but I
Right,
want to be able to get high and stay high.
right.
So I'll just facilitate from behind the scenes.
Yeah, and then it was crazy, bro. Everybody's coming back. Everybody skipped to the loo, my darling, happy, jumping jacks and shit in the front yard because they got a bunch. And then they get rich. Oh, we're gonna sell them all, and then you got to buy them all back at the end of the month because you done left. Now you got to spend gas, time, effort. You end up losing money every month trying to get them back. It was crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
I ended up stopped selling them because when I was doctor shopping, because what was the point?
Right.
Because I end up, like you said, you sell these
And then
for,
you chasing them.
and then yeah, I end up selling like, yeah, I'll sell you 10 for 200, and then next thing you know, like I'm buying 10 for 300 2 weeks later from
Right.
somebody else
Right.
because
Because you
they're
ain't
not
you ain't
giving
there
me a
yet.
deal. They're not my buddy. They're not giving me a deal. So I eventually tell my buddies like, get your home fucking doctor. I'll hook you up. I'll be
Oh
your
yeah.
referral. Because those doctors, you had to be a referral for people. It wasn't, they didn't doctor referrals. It was referrals from other patients.
Right.
Like, yeah, man, he's cool. As
Right.
long as they pay the cash, it's cool.
Yeah. The
And
skeezy network. Uh-huh.
yeah, so like there was
Yeah.
a bunch of people that I hooked up with my doctor. After somebody else hooked me up with the doctor, it's so
Right.
on and so forth.
Right. Domino effect. Yep.
Yeah, it's in a random house you wouldn't even know, and then you sit in the waiting room, and like you said, you sit around, and you're like, oh, I'm in the grips of hell. That waiting room, man. Look around that. You know you're an addict when you're sitting in that waiting room, right?
Dude, and them boys would be gone. They'd be over there for like 12 hours, bro. How you gonna sit in a waiting room for 12 hours, man? You know what I'm saying? I didn't have time for that. I could make enough to fund the next trip because I was base pay, or I was, excuse
Yeah.
me, I was hourly pay plus commission. So I could
Yeah, I used to
make
run a
it.
Roto-Rooter. I
Yeah,
know.
same thing.
Yeah.
So like it was crazy, man. Them boys be coming back. Everybody would be super happy. And man, the amount of drugs that they used to write, dude. Talk about that's what's got us, that's what's got us where we're at now as a society, in my
Hmm.
personal opinion, is over prescribing.
Everything, not just Oxy, not just the pill mills.
No, not at
It's
all.
overprescribing everything.
Yeah, man.
It's not enough meditation. It's not enough therapy, not enough support groups. The basic
Mental health
shit.
work.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's why we started our place, and we do the mental health meetings, and we do trauma meetings, and we do LGBTQ, and we do AA, we do NA.
That's awesome.
Shit, we even do medical marijuana patient meetings,
Uh-huh.
like the whole ring of it, and just to give people a place to go and talk to, because I feel like that's the most important thing in my recovery is the communication. Like I texted you this morning, no one came to AA, but it
Right.
doesn't matter because this is my meeting for the day.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
mine too, brother.
yeah, I do this every day. I talk to people like this and like, oh, that was a good meeting. I needed that. Like, just two alcoholics. And sometimes there's only one person that shows up. And we have this same kind of meeting where we just sit down and just talk back and forth. And it's the fucking best, man.
Yeah, man.
So you're doing that. There's no chance of sobriety in your future at this point when you're doing this, you know, and your girl has no idea that you're getting high because 30s are easy to hide if you're functioning with a job.
Yeah, they are, unless you're doing like 100 of them a week. You're getting a 50 pack Monday to Thursday and a 50 pack for Friday,
On the
Saturday, and
weekend too.
Sunday, which is where I was at the point. And I
Yeah.
remember, so she used to always warn me. So we got
Snorting the
pregnant.
entire time, right? Or eating.
No, I hadn't graduated to the needle. I can lead
No,
into
no,
that. That's
snorting or eating.
you can eat
Like,
them things.
well, a swallow.
You can swallow them things.
The first time you can, and then
No,
once and then,
never.
then once somebody tells you about breaking it, there is no
Yeah,
going
no.
back. There's once you break it, there is no going
Yeah,
back.
yeah. It went the straw, the tin foil, and the needle in that order. But let me get back to the first question, and I'll go into that one.
Yeah.
She knew clearly, what are you on? I mean, her dad had the 80s at the time, the ones that you could peel off the thing before they went to OPs, and you had to mix them with apple juice and vinegar and all that shit to break them down, quote unquote, even though you couldn't.
You couldn't.
So I would just snort them, snort them, snort them. We ended up getting pregnant, and she warned my ass, bro. JD, she warned me, bro, for like the whole time she was pregnant, bro. She's like, you got to get off that shit because when the baby comes, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. Well, in air conditioning, November, December, January in Florida, the workload goes down. So the money goes down, right? So the addiction went up and the money went down. Things got crazy. And long story short, we just called it quits. But then I seen this documentary. So I move out, you know, the baby's born. I moved 10 miles away from where I was at so I could still go back and forth. And I watched this documentary about this dude in Florida and he's smoking these things. He's putting the 30s on tinfoil and he's chasing the dragon. I'm like, you can smoke these things? Oh shit, I gotta try this. And then, dude, boom. And then once I started, bro, I never picked the straw back up. So now I'm like detoxing, withdrawn, going through the stages, fighting with her, about to lose custody of the kid. I go to her uncle, baby mama's uncle. Baby mama's uncle's a Lee County Sheriff's officer in Fort Myers, Florida. And I go to him and I'm like, Uncle, whatever his name was, right? Uncle, I'm dealing with the pills. Da, 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 da. You know what this dude told me, JD? He says, you don't have an addiction problem, you have a spiritual problem. I'm like, what? Because that didn't make no sense. I'd only been a spiritual kind of guy for the last year and a half, 2 years now since
Yeah.
I've been with Jamie. But I'm like, what? And he tells me, Adam, if you do not get your shit together, if you do not get your act together, you'll have a needle in your arm in less than a year. And I'm sitting here like, what? Who are you to tell me that, bro? And this dude's a cop. He's a narcotics officer with a population of 1 million people in the county at the time. So he knew what he was talking about. And then, bro, lo and behold, man, before you knew it, I seen somebody shooting up in my driveway after I just served him. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're a junkie. I said this to myself, clearly. Oh my God, you're a junkie. I just put them in straws and tinfoil and you're cooking them in the spoon. You're fucked up, man. And then, bro, within no time, man, my homeboy, I went by one of the spots, are like, you ever shot these things here, man? Try this. And it just floored me. I was out for like 6 hours, just couldn't even move. And I came to, and just like when I had called my homeboy the next day after sniffing that coke and sniffing that first one, I said, bro, what was that? Oh my God. And then, dude, it just manifested from there.
Yep. And that's how it happens. And that's, honestly, I'm glad I didn't know that you could smoke blues until I got to rehab, because I would have done that. So like, I didn't want to ever shoot, and I knew you could do that, but I didn't want to because I love snorting so much that I was addicted to snorting just as much as I was to the pill. Like,
Right.
to the point where I, never shot anything. I never even did heroin in 10 years because I loved sniffing 30s so much, and blue, like, Roxy's 30s, whatever you want to call them. We called them Johns in Philly, but blues.
Right.
That's what I love snorting. So when you say you put them in a straw, did you mean like? Because like, I used to, not many people did the same thing I used to do. I used to shove them inside the straws.
Right. And then
Like,
you bite them.
yeah. I used to do that because I could be doing it while driving. Because
Correct.
I used to drive a lot to get them, so
Me,
I would have to be
me
doing it
too.
while driving. So, did you ever have it spill on you?
The blues, no. Once I got on the needle, I've had like us going around a corner and the spoon spill into the nasty ass top of the Toyota, and I'm like sucking it like all nasty and with armpit hair
Oh,
or arm hair and
yeah,
shit on there because I was hurt. But nah.
yeah. No,
I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. I've slammed the door on the car, boom, and that shit catapult.
yeah. I bet. Yeah, I've had it spill one time on me, dude, and I had just. I was lucky. I was cool with my dealer, right? So he needed a ride to get his car from the shop when I got to his place to pick him up. And he's like, "Hey, can you give me a ride real fast? Like, you're going that direction, and I gotta get my car." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." He gets in with me, and I'm like, I had just driven 2 hours to see this dude. That's what I used to do 4 times a week, was drive 2 hours to see this dude. So I'm like, I'd been sitting in Philly traffic, just literally throwing up bile into a bag the entire ride, like sick. And he gives me two. It's all I could afford at the time. Put them right into the straw. I'm biting it. I'm getting ready. Hit a fucking pothole, and it all goes, all the dust on my lap. And
Yeah,
he
that
goes,
heart hit that
bro.
ass.
Yeah, he was like, bro, if I wasn't in the car, I wouldn't have believed you here. And he handed me two more. And I was like, all right, cool. Thank you. Like,
Yeah,
he didn't do them ever. He just sold them. So, like, he was more like empathetic, I guess, because, like,
compassionate. Yeah,
yeah, like, I manipulate the fuck out of him, obviously.
sure. We're
That's what
master
we do.
manipulators.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just was curious when you said put him in a stroll, because not many people did that. Or like, when I tell them that's how I did them, they're like, you could do them that way? I'm like, yeah, that's how I did them in bed. I would lay him aside in bed and do it that way.
Yeah, man, because
That's how I got
you ain't gonna lose
out of
none.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't gonna lose none, especially like the activists and certain ones, you'd have residual, which they claim was the cut anyway, but it's a mental thing for me. So nah, man. Circle
Yep.
K straw folded in half and game
Yeah,
over,
Circle
man.
K, McDonald's or Wawa for me.
The big thick ones, yeah.
Yeah, we call them heist the straws. We would go into McDonald's or Wawa and take a handful of like, you guys have Wawas down there, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
Florida we do. I
yeah.
haven't seen too many in Georgia just yet, where we're
Oh,
at.
that's right. You're in Georgia now, but yeah, Florida, you guys definitely do. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
they have the bigger ones down there. But
Oh
that's
yeah.
you always knew where the bigger straws were. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
weird. The information, like, I knew which pharmacies had which brands.
Oh yeah.
Like, the shit that we knew, the useless information that it's
That
just.
occupied space in our
So this uncle, we'll jump back. The uncle now, he says this shit to you, and then you start getting into shooting and everything like that within a year, just like he predicted.
yeah.
And you're living on your own at this point because your girl doesn't want you around the kid.
Yeah, I was in transition, so I had a house. I was just about to lose it and go move with a buddy at that point. Yeah.
So what happened next?
Basically, the addiction spiraled, man. Once I got on the needle, man, it was like, it was game over. I mean, I still held a job for a little while. And then before you know it, dude, within like a year or so, I had diminished every asset. I had liquidated every asset. I sold anything that was worth money, pawned everything that was sort of kind of worth money. And I ended up moving in with he's like my brother. He's passed away now from a fentanyl overdose, but my brother Robbie, and I had stayed with them on and off. Anytime that I got in a jam, the door was always open. It was him and his mom, and he was like my brother, so they just like welcomed me in. So by then, now I'm living with my buddy and his mom in their spare room that's just slapped full of stuff. You know, it was like a storage for them, and you could open the door, and my bed was right here, no mattress, or just the mattress, no box spring headboard. And I just stayed slumming and bumming, dude, for like 10 years, man. I used to work the phone, dude. I would wake up every single morning, and we call it pulling rabbits. You pull a rabbit out of the hat, create some magic. I would work this phone. Hey man, do you need anything? Because I was always the dude that had the connection,
Me
right?
too. Yeah.
And if you wanted to do something, well, you know how
Pay me
this
a little
works,
extra.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I work for commission. I've worked for commission my whole entire life, bro. You got to break me off
Yeah.
some way, somehow. Or I could go in there, and if I could get enough orders, I could get 6 or 7 for the 100. I could get, you know what I mean?
I used to drive 2 hours for those orders. I would be waking up in Lancaster County, 2 hours from South Jersey, calling everybody I know in South Jersey that does them. That you need anything today? You need anything today? Hey, I'll be there around 12. Are you gonna need anything? And then I would go. I would see my dude. I would get the amount that I needed. I had his bank account number. So once I collected all the cash, I would just go over to his bank and deposit the cash
Right,
straight in his account. So I
right.
wouldn't have to go back to see him again to double back. So I was driving back to Lancaster again. It would be I would bring my dog with me, bro. It would be a trip. And she loved it. She would sit in the back. She loved the people watch. I would let her
Every
out and walk
day,
4 days a week
4 days a week.
for my last 3 years of my addiction. Yeah. I was getting
Damn,
him
bro.
different dealers because I couldn't come down all the time. I was running that plumbing business at the same time. Like I was doing 70 hours a week with the plumbing business on top of doing that 4 days a week.
That's crazy. Never
Yeah.
stopping.
That was the point. Was I ran that with my dad and my brother, and I felt so guilty about that 4 days a week what I was doing that I felt like I had to overcompensate and work so hard to take responsibility and relief off them. So I would be like, oh, I'll take the overnight calls. Oh, I'll do this or I'll do that. I'll be the overnight manager the weekends. Oh, I'll take the on-call manager there, and just so they
Right,
wouldn't have to, because I would be awake getting high anyway in the middle of the night. I'll take that phone call. Why not? It's helping my dad and brother relax when I stress them out all the time as it is being a drug addict.
right.
So
Doing what
that
I'm
was
doing.
yeah, it was my way of like, penance, my way of trying to
Right,
make it up to them shit.
right.
So I've apologized, and I do living amends now, and I don't just try to like overwork myself to make those amends now. I just don't get high anymore, which is
Right.
good,
Which
and
is way better.
they appreciate that, which is good. Yeah. So 10 years, you're just going, man. Like, are you getting arrested?
Not really, bro. I mean, I'm just straight junkie status. So I just stayed slick, right? And I just never got jammed up. And for like, so I got in a car accident, and I had financial responsibility to retrieve my Florida driver's license. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need a driver's license. I don't have a car. So what do I need a driver's license for? So bro, I went 10 or 12 years, man. No car, no driver's license. I would make everybody pick me up.
Pick you up. Oh,
Just
you
make
want
me
me
junkie.
to get you shit? Pick me up, man. I'll get you shit. You gotta pick me up.
Yeah, man. And see, I'm from the east side of Fort Myers, so everything's a little bit on the compacted side. Like everything's real close. We don't really go 20 miles this way because that's a long drive.
Yeah, I
And then
got you.
just everything was on our side, man. So I just stayed on the east side, man, and just destroyed my life, bro. I mean, shooting Dilaudid, smoking crack cocaine, shooting cocaine. I just stayed horrible, bro. Like it got to the point I gotta find these pictures. I used to have my hair braided. I used to have cornrows because on Friday I would post up with the boys. The boys would give me some work, and I would just stay out there and I would work with them, and then I would keep what was left, kind of thing. And it was horrible, man. And then I ended up
Like
getting
like
jammed
that
up.
hair, like James Franco in Spring Breakers.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like the
And then I
beaded
got
dreads.
arrested. They pulled it out. It was out to here, dog. So I'm like, I'm in jail with an afro. I had a pillow on my head. I couldn't wait to get a hold of the shaver, bro, because when I was out there in them streets, I thought I looked cool, right? And then I get in jail and I'm finally coming through it and I'm
Look
laying
like
on.
sideshow. Look like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, bro. Krusty the Clown if he had one big fro. Yeah, man. It was crazy.
So when you did get arrested, you said it was felony charges.
Yeah, so we're bobbing and weaving through traffic. I'm on the way to go get my hair done. It's a Friday. I just got a little bit paid. And the cops are behind my buddy. He's driving. I just picked up 10 subs, 10 Suboxone from him because I was gonna quit. Yet I'm trading Suboxone 2 for 1 for bags of dope when I'm sick. And I'm like, my homeboy Mike, and I'm like, Mike, dog, you gotta stop bobbing and weaving through traffic. And dude, they lit us up. And I had just shot a bag before that, and dude, I was so high from the dope that I just injected on the other side of the interstate that I left a instead of swallowing the bags, the full bags, I swallowed the empty bags. And B, I left the water pistol. I threw the spoon out the window and I left the water pistol on the floor. So I'm like closing my eyes, dude. I don't even have a higher power at this time, but I'm praying to my higher power. So I'm like, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, karma, yin and yang. Somebody get me out of this. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. And then boom, bro, I felt the hands of my higher power coming to get me. And I opened my eyes, bro, and it was the fucking cops. They were jamming me up out the window. They seen the paraphernalia on the ground, and it was game over, dude. It was game over. There's no questions. There's no nothing. So they pulled me out of the car, stripped me down, or searched me, I mean, and found everything. And that's what started my sobriety, man. That was March 11th, 2016, bro.
Yo, but were you in jail and like being like, am I gonna shit out a bag of dope and get high in jail? And then just an empty bag came out and you're like, fuck.
No, dude, I didn't take a dump for like 30 or
Well,
40 days.
I can believe that.
Like I was so full of trays and so full of horribleness. Like it was it was miserable. It was to the point it was so miserable. It's looking back now, it's exactly what I needed. So I get
Yeah.
downtown for a day or two, then they move us to the main building, which is a little bit more on the east side where I'm from. And like the mat they give me, somebody just had got sprayed a couple days before. So I'm detoxing off of heroin, laying on a mat with oil-based mace on it. It was misery, bro. Didn't use the bathroom. The toilets are sounding like jets. Everybody's taking a piss 50 times a night. Everybody's in slides. Clack, 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 clack. Whoosh. Clack, 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 clack. Dude, talk about some insomnia, restless legs, withdrawal symptoms. Dude, I went through the most miserable time ever. But that's
And they're not
exactly
giving you
what I needed.
shit. They're not giving you
Nothing.
shit.
Water.
They don't care. They don't
Water.
because you're not gonna die.
This episode is sponsored by MJ's Progress Not Perfection Meeting Center Association. We are in our meeting center where we do all these meetings for mental health and addiction. I can do this podcast anywhere. I can do this at home. I can do this in a closet. I can do this in a basement. It doesn't matter. All I need is somebody else to talk to about addiction and recovery. What I can't do from anywhere is help people with their addiction and their mental health problems. So if you can help out, we do have a Venmo, we have a Cash App, we have a PayPal, we have an address you can send a check to, and all the money that gets donated goes towards rent, goes towards keeping the lights on, and goes towards keeping the internet on. So please, if you can give $5, $10, $20, it doesn't matter. Anything you can is so appreciated. And if you are a local business, if you're a national business, whatever, and you want to be a part of what we're doing, you can reach out to me and we can talk about how you can be a sponsor. But I'll let you get back to the episode.
Correct. You feel like it.
Yeah, but you're not. And the actual, the trick is to tell them you're an alcoholic though. If you tell like any hospital or jail that you're an alcoholic or you're detoxing benzos, they're immediately going to treat you because you could die. So, say you're an alcoholic. If you do get jammed up, you're listening to this and you're, in it still and you go to jail, tell them you're an alcoholic and you drink too much and you're afraid of the tremors and the detox and what's going to happen. and they will hook you up and make you more comfortable because you could die from alcohol, but you will not die from opiates. Sorry to
You
tell
will
you.
feel
Yeah,
like you are going to die.
yeah, but they don't give a shit. But
Nah, drink
benzos you
water,
could.
man. Drink
Yeah,
water, bro. You're
you'll be all
dehydrated.
right. You'll be all
Can't
right.
take a dump, you're dehydrated. Restless legs, you're dehydrated. Can't sleep, you're
Eat a
dehydrated.
banana.
Yeah.
Eat a banana. And the pissing thing, it's because you haven't pissed. Like opiates, like keep us all like, and then all of a sudden you're not doing opiates every day, so you're pissing 100 times a day because you have so much
Yeah. It
in you.
was miserable, man. It was miserable. It's
Yeah. How
exactly
long
what I
did you have to
needed though.
do? How long did you have to do in there?
Bro, believe it or not, I didn't have to do that long, man. I ended up only doing 69 days. The public pretender hit me up on the jailhouse Skype phone and gave me 2 offers, like a day or 2 before court. In Florida, you got to do 85% of your time. So the first offer was, which was 90 days, which I was real fortunate because I just finished 3 years paper for discharging a firearm into an occupied vehicle from poor decisions a couple years before, not drug related. So they offered me 90 days credit for time served and straight release, which would have only gave me another week in incarceration. They would have let me out scot free, or they offered me a year paper, all these contingencies, fines out the wazoo, and just all this stuff to do, right? And dude, I gladly took the 1 year paper because I knew myself at that point in time in the game. I had 69 days sober. My homeboy, because everybody knew me, were from that side of town. I seen a bunch of people I was locked up with. My homeboy Dustin gets out and he's dead. He goes to the same spot that I was messing with. My dad, because you got JPay, you can text on the thing, you know, messages. It's like a quarter each way or something. My dad hits me up on text message through the jailhouse text system and was like, Donald's dead, bro. And I just seen Donald getting released. We were in the tents. I got moved to low security. Donald was across the way, bro, and Donald was dead, man. So I took the 1 year paper, man. I took the 1 year paper. I knew myself, and I knew that my ass needed some structure out there because I had lived an unstructured life for so long. The implementation of structure was viable to my
Were you hitting
success.
H&I in there?
What's H&I?
Hospitals and institutions when NA or AA brings meetings into jails.
Oh yeah.
Were you hitting those
Yeah.
meetings? Okay, cool.
Everything I could get, bro. I was reading books. I was reading the Bible. I was reading breathing techniques, dude. I was consuming. I've always been gifted, right? Even when I was a little kid, I was deemed gifted. I got a Humpty Dumpty size head, right? Maybe because it's extra brain space. I got an extra terabyte or something up there. But I've always been really big on education, except for when I'm like you said, Malincrots are 27 milligrams and the V cuts are, you know what I mean? Like just stupidness. So dude, I just educated myself. I hit every single meeting in there that I possibly could. I tested to get my GED. I got checked for all the cooties. You know what I mean? Like I did anything and everything that I could do. I did when I was.
And that intelligence thing, you know, I think, and I've talked to a lot of addicts on the show. You know, I've had like 70 episodes now recorded or out, whatever. A lot of us are, and it's almost like my grandma used to always say to me, "You're too smart for your own good."
Yes.
You know, we can't get out of our own way. We
Yes.
overanalyze things, and you overanalyze, and then you reanalyze, and then you find different solutions, and then you get, okay, well, should I do that? And then, you know, we can overthink shit, and that's what happens to ourselves when our brain rewires from the drugs, because it literally does rewire. So between the rewiring of the brain from the habit on top of the way that we process information, it's just we can't get out of our own way. You know, that's, you know, I talk to an old timer all the time here. He comes to the AA in the morning, and he always says, I never quit anything. I never quit smoking cigarettes. I never quit drugs. I never quit drinking.
Then what do you do?
I stopped starting.
I love it.
He doesn't know how to quit, but he knows how to stop starting. So he hasn't had a drink in over 30 years or a drug or cigarettes in 20 some years because he stopped starting again. But when he starts, he doesn't know how to quit. He just knows how to stop restarting once he does get a stop. You know, you get it.
No, I'm with it. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, oh, shit, that makes so much sense to me. I love that shit. So, you know, everyone has their own way. So now you get out, you know, 70 days or whatever, and you're like, I'll take the year. That was probation where they drug test you and shit. Like a
Yeah,
drug court?
probation, classes, fines, just a whole bunch of stuff.
And then you got into program work after that. Where'd you go to stay?
Say it one more time.
When you got released, did you go to a halfway house or something?
No, I went back to the bedroom to where you opened the door, and my mattress was there with all my dirty ass clothes on it, and it was crazy. It was crazy, JD. I
Was
call
your
it the
buddy
time.
still getting high when you got out that you were living with?
No, he had violated probation for pissing hot for cocaine. My brother, he had
Hmm.
pissed hot for cocaine, and I'm probably gonna sneeze here in a second, just so you know. He he ended up pissing hot for cocaine, and he actually was in there with me in jail.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it was an old business partner, my buddy, and my brother, all in the same dorm the day I got released, because everybody was out there and making bad decisions. And I forgot the
And,
question, man. Can
and
you say
like
the
and
question?
like you said, but like you said, his mom always had the door open for you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's right.
so
So I returned.
you get out and you go back to that house since that room's still open for you.
Yeah, so I get out after doing the 69 days, and I return, and I call this the time capsule effect. Like, I am changing and I am different, yet everything around me has remained the same, right? So I'm seeing things differently. I'm like, I walk in and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful and thankful for the things that I had at that point in time. But I'm walking and I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is what I've turned my life into. I don't have anything. I'm living in my homeboy's spare bedroom on a dirty ass bed. All my clothes are dirty. All my stuff is just hand me down. My boys used to give me shoes by the end of it because my shoes were all like jammed up. Like, it was a rude awakening, I guess is the best adjective that I can use to describe it. It's
Because you're
like,
looking at your room sober for the first time, right?
bro, first time ever, bro. First time ever. And it was like, I can't believe I diminished myself to this. At, like, when I was in jail, I didn't realize I was an addict. You know what I mean? And I get out and I seen what I turned my life into. Dude, my heart hit the ground, bro. Like, I was somewhere between like really sad and really pissed off at myself that,
Because you're like 32 years old then, 31,
yeah,
32.
yeah, 31 at the time, yeah.
That's how
And
old I was. I went to recovery. I was 31 and a half.
yeah,
And
man. And I just, dude, I was mad at myself, bro. I had never felt well. First and foremost, I had never felt anything, right? Because we're so numb from good drugs,
yeah.
But like real feelings and real vision and real clarity. Boy, clarity's something else when once you go ahead and grab a hold of it. And dude, I'm just looking around, bro, and I'm just pissed at myself. But I'll never forget it. Mom was on vacation. She's my mama. She didn't birth me. You know how that works, right? It was destroyed. There wasn't a bunch of food in there, dude. I go in the pantry. I'm like, oh my God, real peas. And like, I was just so happy coming from jail food. And I open the freezer door. I go to grab the freezer door and I yank it open and I look inside there, bro. And what's in there? A liter of Grey Goose. And I shut it real quick and I call my uncle, which is her brother. Uncle Steve, you got to come get this, bro. Uncle Steve came by the next day and grabbed it. And dude, that just started it, man. I started waking up early. I started exercising every single day. I got out of jail skinny as a beanpole. I was 194 pounds at 6'4", and just ate up with the dumbness, man. And I just hustled hard, man. I exercised twice a day. I didn't have a car, a job, a phone, and nothing. So what am I gonna do other than exercise? And dude, I just kept putting on strength, man.
Yeah. It's like you have to take your time. You have to be patient. You have to trust that you're doing the right thing every day. You're not doing
Trust
the
the
wrong thing.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just know that doing different things is good right now. That, change of scenery, change of actions, change of anything. Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
You know a good
And
saying I heard? When you start changing the things around you, the things around you will begin to change. I'll say it again for the listeners. When you change the things around you, the things around you will change. So like
yeah,
I had to change my place of residence. I had to change the way I walked, talked, thought, spoke. Gratitude lists. Gratitude, what's that? When you're grateful. Grateful for what? And then you just had to dive into stuff like that.
I always joke about I didn't know people said the word grateful besides on Thanksgiving until I got sober. I didn't know that people said that all year round and shit. Like
Yeah,
every
man.
day. Like what? Every day you want me to say I'm grateful for something?
Yeah, man. Or a couple things,
You got to change who
That's
you're talking to too. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, I smoke cigarettes, so like I'll be smoking a cigarette outside of my meeting center, and if I see somebody walking by that definitely is on some meth, I'm not gonna be like, hey, what's up, buddy? As they're walking by, how you doing? But when I
right.
see like the guy walking by with the dog, before I wouldn't have talked to that regular person with the doggy because I wouldn't have want them to see how high I was.
Right. Shame
And
and guilt kind of thing.
I would be like hidden in the back in the alley smoking a cigarette so no one would ever see me. But now, like this morning, I got like the best start to my morning because I was on FaceTime with my wife when I was outside, and all of a sudden, this little 3-month-old puppy, little mutt, little white fairy thing, just wanted all the love and attention, and his owner was letting me pet him. So I'm just like giving him all the love, and it's like that kind of shit. You don't have those kind of moments in addiction because you're so ashamed and guilt ridden and you don't love yourself, so why would anybody else even want to talk or look at you?
Right.
So you don't talk to strangers like that. You don't do that because like what if they rat me out? Who would if they're a cop? All that stupid shit. You just
Trust
only talk.
issues.
Yeah, but now I can say, oh my god, what kind of dog is that? What's his name? Can I
Right.
pet him and have a
Right.
conversation with the person, some stranger for 5 minutes, and have a cool little connection and have that puppy wag his tail and get to give it some love because my cats fucking hate me, so I get to have a dog that loves me once a day.
And everybody walks away, including the animal, feeling better than when they walked up. You know what I mean? It's the sharing of joy kind of
And
thing. Yeah.
it's not that thing either of like, oh my god, is she walking the right way right now saying how high I am? Did she
Right.
notice how dilated my pupils are? Did
Right.
she notice how much I was sweating? All of that thing too, because you get stuck in those situations in addiction too that you don't want to be in, and then it ends, and you're like, oh my god, and you start replaying everything. Did they know this? Did they know that? Did they know this? And then you get high over it again, because you're so in your head about it. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
the little joys of recovery that you don't know that you get until you find yourself in that moment, but you can't get in that moment unless you put yourself, like you said, into different situations.
Oh yeah. You got to change everything, man. Like some people don't
What do they
embrace.
say? What do they say? They say you don't got to change one thing, you got to
You
change
got to change
everything.
everything, and that's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true, bro. Like I didn't embrace it, but that's so true. You literally got to change everything. Now you can return to a couple things as long as it's not going to screw you up, but hypothetically, you want to change everything.
Yep. And I was, when especially when you want to do this, when you want to be in recovery,
Wholeheartedly, right?
you're more, not need to the one,
Want to.
yeah, because then you're driven by yourself and not by anybody else. Because like, I was the opposite drug addict, where I was not rail thin. I was, 340, putting on weight, skitting, like just adding on weight. So when I got out there, I was started walking every day in LA. I lost like 70 pounds in like 2 months just from
Wow.
eating healthy and walking every day and just like playing,
Awesome.
playing horse, not even full court basketball, just playing horse.
Uh-huh.
Just being active
Right.
and just like eating right and just being cognizant of, not drinking soda and not drinking sugar and all that stupid shit, just doing things the way that you should be. And then your mind feels better. Then you feel more confident. And then you
Oh
go to
yeah.
meetings and you're okay with sharing in these meetings because you're not worried about how you look and how people are perceiving you because you don't look like a drug addict anymore. You don't look high. You look a lot better than you did 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
I think that first 90 is so important and, finding yourself and finding a way to get on the pink cloud in the first 90
Right.
because it's not going to last. Spoiler alert. That pink cloud, that should burst
Never
within six
last.
months.
Ever.
I give it 6 months, but it's nice when you're on it and it'll keep, and if you enjoy it for the 6 months, it can keep you sober for another 2 years. But, enjoy the pink cloud while you got it because
Hey,
it's not going to,
can I show
yeah,
you a picture?
yeah. Look at that hair. Dude, you look fucked up. Is that from your mugshot?
That's my mugshot. Yeah. That's one
Okay.
of them. While we chat, I'm trying to find you the picture of the braids.
Yeah. And definitely, and you can send them to me too, and then I'll pop that up on the screen.
I will. I would
You know
love
what I
to.
mean? Yeah. I'll have this way earlier on when you're talking about it, I can just have it like go across the screen.
Perfect.
Yeah. So even if you find it later, just send it on off to me because I'll be editing later on today and tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll send
Yeah.
you a bunch of different stuff then. Like one time
Yeah.
I went from that to that. They put me on the
Yeah.
news for the YouTube movement and stuff. I'll send you a bunch of good photography attached.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll try my best to get as much in there as possible. You know how it
Cool.
is.
Oh
You know
yeah.
how the editing process can go. Some days it's funny, making content now is keeping me sober, right? Because not
Without
just
a
the
doubt.
meetings, it's the telling the stories, it's the talking about it, people, these kind of conversations. And like we were saying before we even started recording, with, how I love to promote things and like find cool clips. Like that shit keeps me sober. It just being active in your recovery.
Oh yeah. Yep. Same here. That's something I just love about it, and I basically I still work full time, but it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. And then of course the wife, that's how me and Jamie actually ended up getting together, was on behalf of the content. We're married now. So I help her with hers and I do mine, and it's just been really cool. Like for example, I just bought a new camera and a new microphone. Like, dude, the old school Adam would have pawned that shit day one, bro. Oh, you spent 1,200 on it? Give me like 350, bro. Come on, man. Give me 300. They would have offered me 150 for something that cost me 1,200, and I would have gladly did it, kind of thing,
Yeah, this is my studio because I got two other mics over there.
Oh man, I love it.
So, and I got this third mic here, and I got and you're right, the old JD, this shit would have been gone, man. And now I can have, 4 people in here on a podcast because I do have another one over there, and we can sit in, we can chat. I'm gonna have 3 of us on this week with my wife and a friend of ours that runs the United Way in recovery thing around here.
Cool.
She's been on the show back in September, and yeah, like it's like a hobby. Even if it does, I'm not trying to make any money with this. I'm trying to raise awareness. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get attention to just being okay with not being okay.
Sharing the message, man.
Yeah, this isn't making me any money. I think my podcast, let's see, my podcast has been up since July. So this will be funny to show
July
people.
of July of last year or this
No,
year?
no, July of 2021. I've 591. I don't make money on this. It's
Right.
not like this isn't for making money. This is, because I love to do this. This keeps me sober. This is like my hobby that keeps me sober.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
mine too.
just like I said, this is my meeting for the day. So even if I don't talk to anybody else today, if I don't have anybody at the trauma meeting tonight or whatever, which usually there is, there's trauma everywhere, but there's usually a bunch of trauma and it's always a good meeting. But even if there's not, I already feel good about my day because I got to sit down and talk to somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's what's important to me. That's the kind of making that kind of networking all across the world in recovery. I had a girl from UK on the other day, from Scotland. There's been Australia a couple times, like
I was in
Canada.
South Africa yesterday.
You were in like on a thing?
On a podcast out of South Africa yesterday. Yeah, man, that's what it's about, dude. Sharing the message on a global level.
That is cool as hell, South Africa.
Yep.
That's like seriously hitting all the aspects of addiction isn't just in our country, it's not just in Florida, it's not just in Jersey or whatever.
Not at all.
Ohio has been on my show more than any other state.
Yeah, I heard it's crazy over there.
I find guests on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and it's all random. If I see somebody's content that I like, I'm like, hey, you want to tell me your story or whatever, like yours, and your wife's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, my wife sent me a video of Jamie, and because she always sends me recovery videos too, and I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to her tomorrow. She's like, are you really? Like that? Yeah, I'm interviewing her tomorrow. She goes, oh my god, that's so funny that I saw like her video and sent that to you.
That's awesome.
So that's the kind of thing right there that I like. I like finding people that way. I'm like, oh, I want to hear their story more. I have questions for them. I want to talk to them. I want to find out about that shit.
Oh
so, I don't care if you listen. I don't care if you watch. This is for me.
Right.
I'm going to post it because people will get something. I ask questions like, do you have any siblings? Because I want somebody to find a way to resonate with us right away.
Right.
You know how it is. You got to get them to resonate in, not resonate out.
Bond and rapport, man.
Yeah. Do you, like, you don't have to say, do you fellowship at all besides like, outside still, like you used to?
You mean like hit meetings and
Yeah.
programs and all that? Man, the 12 step, and I know you're super 12 step. I'm not knocking what you do, bro.
I'm not super 12 step. It worked for me.
It worked for you, and it works for a whole bunch of people. And I want the listeners or the viewers to find what works for them and do it. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
work for you, I want you to do less of it and
Yep.
find something else that works better and work
Yeah.
that more. So in Florida, by the time I left Florida, I had a super bad taste in my mouth from the 12 steps because I really wasn't going to a bunch of different meetings. Like if you go to one meeting and you don't really vibe, you need to go to a different meeting and it's a little cliquish.
It's very toxic from what I've heard.
It's a
That
little
Florida fellowshipping can be kind of
dude.
toxic from what I heard. I heard there's a lot of selling in the bathrooms, a lot
Oh,
of people
dude.
trying to take you out. Like it can be a really toxic environment down there from what I was
We all
told.
everybody's 13th step, and I have a video about that on YouTube. Make sure you check out what is the 13th step on YouTube.
I'll put it in the description because that's a big deal. Like we watch a documentary called 13th Step on Tubi.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like we don't even sign court cards here because of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I came up to Georgia and the anonymous program is so much different. We submerge ourselves in the solution. It's not a listen to me, pal, in a finger pointing competition. My biggest thing is I was in a meeting and it really wasn't a sponsor. It was like a sober accountability partner, which is a twisted word for a sponsor, right? And we were talking about dreams or goals or whatever the message of the day was. And dude stopped the meeting. I told him that I wanted to do all this stuff. And he goes, whoa, 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 Adam, you're dreaming too big. You're dreaming up here. You're going to land here. You're going to relapse. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude to tell me that, man? He don't know what I do inside. He don't know how hard I used to hustle in them streets before, how hard I'm hustling now. You live in a van down by the river, and I'm not knocking anybody that drives vans or anybody that lives down by the river. That's totally awesome if that's what you want out of life. But I wanted more. So like,
He's
dude,
straight up Matt Foley. He's straight up Matt fucking Foley. Like
so that's what this dude told me. So dude, I just left. I had a real bad taste. I mean, dude, I walked inside. I did a bunch of speaking. I got a video I just released on YouTube. I forget what it's called. It's a 57-minute video or audio only of me inside a rehabilitation center. I went inside the rehab centers for like 16 months in Florida, spoke every other Sunday. We still hit a meeting occasionally, but it's more like what we're doing now. We do it in church every Sunday. I'm a firm follower of Jesus Christ now. I wasn't forever. I'm not telling you what to or to believe in. That's your choice. I'm just telling you what my choice has been. I've studied everything, and that's just where I'm at right now personally. But
we
yeah,
don't
I mean,
think
we
my
still
Bill
do
Murray
fellowship.
is sacrilegious. I'm
Uh-huh.
not trying to be sacrilegious with my higher power, but I had my friend paint me Bill Murray as Jesus because I
Uh-huh.
wanted Bill Murray is my higher power. So
Uh-huh.
I had her do me that commission for my studio because like I was like, yo, make him as Jesus for me since he's my higher power.
That's
So I
funny.
hope you don't think I'm not being sacrilegious. It's just,
No, not at all, bro.
my vision of it.
It's all good.
Artistic vision, yeah.
Some people higher power is a bottle of smart water because they think it's really going to make them smarter. You know what I mean? Whatever you're into,
There's
go
good
right
orderly
ahead.
direction. There's a group of drunks. There's the acronyms. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it. And the cool thing is, like I did, like I had a bad taste in my mouth from an anonymous program in Hershey, and to the point where I didn't want to go back, and I drank again over it. And so when I quit, drinking again, I got sober again. This is where this place was born out of. Was I wanted a place that was more inclusive. I wanted a place where I could do crosstalk. I
Right.
wanted a place that I could like talk in the way I want to talk and have a meeting the way I want to have a meeting and accept the people I want to accept and not just keep the door closed for certain people.
Right.
And so
Or tell
that's
people
what.
they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's where this came out of, man. It was just me
Yeah.
being tired of trying to follow everybody's rules. If COVID taught me anything, it's you don't have to work for anybody else. You don't have to do this for somebody else.
Right.
If you don't like something, just do it. If you want something, just make it happen. So the podcast is something I always wanted because I love podcasts. So I love radio talk shows. Made it happen. I just did it. I don't know how to do it. I just watch videos on how to do it, and you learn how to do it. And then, like, somebody said to me recently, like, oh, your first episode's rough. I'm like, watch the first episode of anything. I learned it. As I go, they get better. You learn it as you go. You figure shit out. You get tricks, and it gets easier.
Oh
So
yeah.
you think I could do 40 episodes in 40 days in the beginning? No, it took me a week to do an episode. South
Oh
Park
yeah.
does their first episode took them 4 months, and it's horrible. And now they can bang out episodes in 6 days, and they're amazing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I look back at my first episode and I just laugh. I jumped off January of 19. I got 350 videos on YouTube. I look at my first one and dude, whenever I'm having a bad day or the analytics or the numbers or the whatever, somebody complains to me because my whatever is a trigger. I just watch my first video, and I'm like, wow, dude.
Yeah, I don't put trigger warnings on the episodes anymore. My show is a trigger warning, like
Right.
for real. Like in the description of my show, it says everything that has been talked about between sex addiction and meth, all this stuff, like just so you know, it could be mentioned at any point. And this is a reminder on the show once again that I'm not going to put trigger warnings on every single episode because every single episode is a trigger warning.
If you allow it to be one.
If you allow it to be, anything will be, because I that's why I started to in the beginning. The first couple I put trigger warnings on, and I'm like, but everything's a trigger warning. That could have been a trigger, and then I'm fucking doing lists of triggers. I don't want to do that. I want to just write a description of what the fucking video is about.
Yeah, man, everything's a trigger warning, bro. The door handle on my car when I opened it up and a pill fell out back 10 years ago was a trigger warning. Like, and the weird part is us in recovery. We are
Sometimes
so,
I snort too hard and I tasted a little, and that's a trigger.
yeah, you're hopping up a loogie. That's a trigger warning, bro. You just got to drain from your snot hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just goes on and on. We're too judgmental in the recovery community. We need to stop being so damn judgmental of others. Point the finger at yourself. Don't point your finger at other people.
And the irony is that, as addicts, when we're in addiction, we're so, oh, they're looking at me like this and they're looking at me like that. And we're so caught up in everybody's judgments of us. And then we get sober, and what do we fucking do? Judge others?
Start judging everybody else.
Because that's exact what we thought was happening anyway. So, but the people that work a program, I've talked about this on my TikTok, and somebody called me out on it. They're like, I need more context. It's like, fuck off. Like saying about that. I don't like when people are judging outwardly in meetings, because that just tells me, I don't care if you have 30 years, that you're not working a program.
Right.
Because I know you said you're not a big step guy, but I know you know the steps. I know you understand the steps because you've read them, and just based on talking, I know you know them.
I worked them. I did them.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, if you have a fucking judgment, you got to put it on your 4, and then you got to do a 5 and talk to somebody. You don't talk to that person, that newcomer or whatever, about what your resentment is. That's not what you do. If you're an old timer, you got to know you keep your fucking mouth shut. You put it on a 4 and do a 5. That's it. It's a wrap.
Lip will sink a ship. Mm-hmm.
And that ship won't be you with 30 years. It'll be that newcomer that's going to overdose on that fentanyl that's out there. Because to me, you're an old timer. You're the new age old timer to me, because like you said, you pulled rabbits. Old timers don't know about pulling rabbits, bro. Nah. That old timer I mentioned earlier, and him and I always talk about it. 30 plus years, he doesn't know what it's like to look at your phone all day. He doesn't know that struggle of texting a million people to try to find shit and get things started, like you said.
Right, hustling.
He doesn't know that game. So to me, you're an old timer because you understand me more than that guy with 30 years, because we did the same shit with the same drugs.
Oh, yeah.
He was shooting completely different dope than you were.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking guitar versus, whatever. I mean, just the quality and to what it did to our minds because of what they were making them do, what they were chemically. Yeah, no, what they were chemically changing these drugs to do to take over our minds over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Oxycontin didn't even exist in the early 90s.
Right.
And that rewired so many brains.
Oh, yeah. That's what led us to the 100,000 plus issues that we're having this year so far.
Without a shadow of a doubt, man, because then everybody else started making Roxycodone, those blues, those 30s, they're oxys, they're Oxycontin. They're just a
Yeah.
different brand. It's just a different. They're oxys. You know, it doesn't matter. People always try to, oh, you didn't do real oxys. No, I don't like OCs because I was too impatient to peel them. I liked blues because I didn't have to peel anything. You
Right.
know, and you mentioned the OPs. I actually liked the OPs. Only I used them as subs. I would only use the OPs as Suboxone because I knew that it was time release.
Right.
So at least if I ate one, I'm good for 8 hours, and then I
Right.
can figure something out in the next 8 hours.
Right.
So
Buy
I
me some
didn't,
time.
yeah, I didn't use OPs to get high. I used them as subs to get me by, if
Right.
that makes sense. Like you know
Total
how it
sense.
is. You
Oh
know how it
yeah.
is, bro. Like that struggle, dude, of keeping yourself from. That's all we were doing was keeping ourselves from withdrawing
Yep.
is the come down. I was talking to my sponsee earlier. Him and I had a cigarette. You know, he couldn't make the AA. He got a newborn now. His fifth kid and the only one he's around for because, you know, the other four he was too much of a wreck on meth that he
Uh-huh.
not methadone methamphetamines.
Uh-huh.
And now he's got 5 months as of today, and he
Cool,
hasn't had
man.
a drink
Congratulations, homeboy.
since the day we met, July 4th. He hasn't had a drink. He got a Vivitrol shot, and he's fucking killing it. Most time he's
Good.
ever had. Like when his kid was born, man, I was crying so much. I was so happy that he got to be there and like
Right.
feel all those feelings for the first time of being a dad, you
Them
know,
some
and get to
crazy
feel it.
feelings too, man.
He's
Yeah.
like, I ran out and I threw up. And I was like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, he had his kid this morning, but he lives, you know, right at the corner here. So when I was walking by I walk here a lot usually if my wife's not coming because she can't walk with a cane. So like I'll walk here when she's not here. And yeah, I saw him out there smoking, so we had a couple of cigarettes. So that was my little brief meeting. And
Right.
now here's my meeting. So,
Right.
you know, it's those kind of interactions that I love, man. Those newcomers that you find ways to relate to them. You know, him and I bonded over our ages. I never did meth. I wasn't an upper guy. I was a downer guy. I did coke, but I never did meth. Not one time my entire life. You know, I just never had a thing for it. I watched Breaking Bad and it never did anything for me.
Me neither. I
So
tried it once or twice and
I didn't need to try it. I saw what it did and I was like, I don't want that. I want to be down, not up. I don't want that mind thing. My mind already raced as it is. But, you know, we related over being the same age, 31 and a half, you know, in
Right.
recovery and finding it that way. And, you know, he uses cannabis in his recovery. And I went to a rehab called High Sobriety in LA that taught me how to change my relationship with cannabis. I don't smoke it. People wouldn't even know that I, you know, take the capsules if I didn't tell them because it's
Right.
such a small dosage that it's not like I'm, oh, hey, bro. You know, it's not my, you know, nothing changes. It's
Right.
medicine. I don't think of it
Right.
as anything but my blood pressure medicine.
It's MAT, man.
I take it with my blood pressure medicine. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
it's literally just whatever. So, but he was more comfortable opening up and talking, and then you know I get vulnerable so that he can feel comfortable being vulnerable. It's a beautiful
Right.
thing, dude. Like I love,
Relatability.
you know, giving it back what was given to us. You know,
Exactly. Because somebody did it for us. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yep. And now you have your partner too. You and your wife were both sober partners. And my wife and I were both sober, and you know, it's a cool thing to have a partner that you know. Then the communication opens up in the relationship when you know you're two people that are sober and you put your stories out the way you do. My wife has a podcast and she's been on my show telling her story. So like, you know, when you open yourselves up together like that, the communication is so fluid and it's so easy that the relationship there's not much like speed bumps because you can communicate and talk through them so quickly.
Yeah, me and Jamie were actually talking about that last night. Some people we have somebody that's, dealing with addiction and he is the addict and she is not. And it's real difficult when one is like been through the trenches of addiction and one is like not at all. You know what I mean? So me and Jamie we were speaking on that last night. It's like it's really easy for our relationship because we can discuss mental health, we can discuss trauma, just everything. You know what I mean? It makes it for an easier conversation. Now, is any
Yep.
relationship perfect? Does any guy
No.
and girl get along all the time, or guy and guy if you're into that, whatever? Who am I to judge? Um, no relationship with your significant other, your spouse, your partner is going to be perfect. It's open communication. But yeah, being two addicts, but you also got to watch yourself though too, man, because if our recovery don't come first, man, like I understand Jamie's my wife and everything else, but like if I go out there and fuck all this up, bro, it's over. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like recovery must come first,
And
because everything else will
yeah.
come last.
Yep. And we've said that to each other because we weren't in active addiction together, right?
Right.
We
Me
just
neither,
like you
or us
guys.
neither.
Yeah, just
Right.
like you guys. We weren't in active addiction together. We did drink a little bit together, but it was when I had relapsed with drinking, I was so indoctrinated with AA that I was ever so always afraid of getting drunk. That's why I got sober again, is because I finally got drunk and woke up hungover. And I said, oh shit, I don't want that. I can't
Don't
do
want to
this
feel like this
anymore.
ever.
And it was leap day. I was like, this is a great sober date. So I quit and I haven't had a drink since. But like in that 9 months, I didn't have any crazy moments of like getting DUIs. I wasn't over drinking. I was being really cautious because I was so indoctrinated with AA. And she, was calming down her drinking then because of me. And like, oh, we got to do this and we'll be safe and we'll do it this way. Because I was,
Right.
and her dad's 30 plus years in the program too. So she knows all about it. But yeah, when we quit together, it was a lot easier to talk about things. But we do know, we have openly said, like, we can't go back because we would be way too toxic
Oh yeah.
in addiction together. If we were both like actively in addiction, alcoholism, and using together, like it's
Somebody
not
might
going to be
not
good.
make it out. It'd be
No,
so toxic. Or
I
both of
I
us might not make it out.
I already know I'm not making it. I'm not making it out of an next relapse. The way
Nah,
fentanyl is
me
today,
neither, bro.
the way I did blues,
Yeah,
I would
man.
get the wrong one, and I would be hurting and not care, and I'd
Right.
be
And
dead.
it'd be a dirt sandwich for you, just like my brother Robbie. Yeah,
The
man.
first one out in my nose, I'll be dead. I already know it.
Yep.
That's what I tell myself to keep myself like, hey, you're gonna fucking die. You go out because it has to be that way.
You has to.
Like you said, you have to treat your recovery as hard as you treated your addiction. If you ran all day long and you hustled all day long to get high, you got to run and hustle to stay sober too, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
I appreciate you coming on and taking some time this morning, man. Like
Bro,
it
I
was,
appreciate you having
you
me,
and I got
man.
so much in common, like,
Yeah, man.
you
Part
know,
2 in 2022, buddy.
yeah, we'll definitely do it. And if you want me to hop on yours, I'm definitely down. I'm always in studio.
Yeah, man.
So
I'm down
we'll
like 4 flat tires.
we'll figure something out. Get me over those pictures and I'll add them to the video for the watchers.
Will do, brother.
So awesome, man. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right, see you.
See ya.